Welcome to this presentation about farmer grants provided by Northeast Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education, a federally funded program that serves the 12 Northeast states and Washington, D.C. I'm Carol Delaney, coordinator of the Farmer Grant Program, and my goal is to give you a basic understanding of what types of on-farm research SARE funds, who qualifies to apply, and what the application process is like, so you can decide if you want to take the next step and apply with your proposal, or maybe advise someone else to submit their proposal. This exploration of the Farmer Grant Program will last about 8 minutes. First, this unique program continues in much the same way after more than 20 years, and this is because the SARE community firmly believes that farmers are inventive, observant, and like to learn from one another. SARE projects have shown that farms are credible laboratories where we actually learn if methods work in practice on commercial farms. In this case, Randy Rice is testing newly released wine grape varieties for their survivability and taste, whether managed organically or conventionally. With a SARE grant, farmers are given a platform to become leaders and teachers. In this project, Jack Laser worked with other farmers to form a wheat breeding club so they could develop and select varieties that grow in their northern climate. On-farm research is where invention and innovation can be tested, like on this oyster farm, where Jesse Leach worked with his technical advisor to try to control a pest of oysters. Since SARE's mission is that farms be more sustainable, our grant programs seek to fund the best projects that promote profitability in farms, the preservation and conservation of natural resources, and the livelihood of the farmers themselves in the sense of supporting their quality of life and strengthening their place in the community. All proposals are reviewed and projects are awarded based on their merit, meaning each study will bring new and useful information and it is well thought out. And secondly, will the results be useful to other farmers other than just the applicant? You have to know that this is a competitive process and only about a third to half of all the proposals are funded. The grant topics vary as much as the type of farms in the Northeast region where the project must take place. Generally speaking, applicants investigate existing or novel commercial crop and livestock production techniques, direct or wholesale marketing approaches, and projects that look at quality of life for farmers and what will help them be more sustainable in a social sense on their farms and in their communities. Often these have to do with employment or labor. And of course, projects concerned with bolstering the health of the farm ecosystem are welcome at SARE. As an example, one farmer grant study occurred on a large wholesale vegetable crop farm in Maine, where they looked at how their practices might actually increase the susceptibility of Colorado potato beetle to their pesticides, and that way they could have fewer pesticide applications. Another example is when Courtney Haas, a farmer in New Hampshire, was funded to write a safe food guide for other farmstead market vendors who were selling cheese. And this CSA greenhouse farmer in Massachusetts tested her idea over 2 grants in succession on how to develop a method for growing greenhouse ginger, which is normally a crop that is grown in Hawaii. And improving the soil has been the focus of Steve Groff, a farmer who has for many years looked at how cover crops and no-till methods might improve soil health and decrease the risk of growing commercial crops. So now's the time to ask yourself if applying for a farmer grant is right for you. First, are you a commercial farmer and raise and sell at least $1,000 of farm product per year? Are you excited about taking a chance to try a new idea that might improve your farm? And do you like to share what you learn with others? With our farmer grants, we require you have a skilled technical advisor to help you, and your farm has to be equipped to do the project. This is not a place to apply for equipment to augment or expand your farm. You need to have what you need in place to run your farm. And lastly, do you have the time to really do this? You are becoming a researcher in addition to your normal duties. While you will be in charge of the project, we know that having support will garner the best results. To this end, you need to enlist a technical advisor who is required to provide you with a letter confirming his or her participation. And this advisor adds a breadth of experience and knowledge to the development and execution of your project. He or she can review your proposal. They can help you stay on track during the study and actually help you do outreach, meaning talking about the results with other farmers. The technical advisor could be a cooperative extension agent, a private consultant, and it could even be another farmer. They don't have to live near you, but should be available to support you in an area where you may need assistance. To start, you want to talk the idea over with a technical advisor who has agreed to work with you. And before you launch this application process, see if your farm staff and your technical advisor think you have the capacity to follow through the project. Ask yourself if you have the human resources and the space to take this on. Then think about how you could run the study to get useful results. For example, if you are trialing a new technique, you will need a control or a normal management practice to compare it to at the same time. From this point, you are ready to refine your idea and fill in the details of how you will answer your specific question. Your question often takes the form of, will taking this approach offer a better result than my current method? So as shown in this simple diagram, starting with your idea at the center, then the second step, like at the top circle, you start by reading current trade magazines or search scientific literature or the SARE reporting database for what others have done on this specific topic. This may be where your technical advisor could help you. In the proposal, you need to show you have an understanding of what is current so that you don't repeat work that has been done. Then you decide what you will actually do that will add more information, come up with the best methods and what you want to measure that will answer your original question. If you and your technical advisor are new to this, it's probably a good idea to get a second check by talking with other experts or experienced farmers about your plan. Then finally, develop a brief outreach plan, and that is to share results with other farmers. We have been told by applicants that the writing and submitting process takes about 20 to 40 hours. If you feel ready to submit your idea for review, you will need to get the application materials. First, simply go to our website, Northeast SARE, and click on the drop-down menu under Grants. You will pick Get a Grant, which will bring you to the choice of farmer grants. On that webpage are all our application materials, which get updated every year. You will have application instructions and a budget justification and narrative template. These you will download to use for the submission of your full proposal. On that webpage you will also find other useful documents, and they are there to aid you in crafting the best proposal you can. So in these instructions that you've downloaded, you will respond to 7 questions, and they are summarized here as: what is the importance and context of the problem or opportunity? What is your proposed solution? What is the current background information on the topic as we discussed? What are your methods, your timeline, and outreach plan? And what is the description of your farm, like acres, number of livestock or greenhouses, size of your CSA, and gross annual sales? Also, your years of farming experience is important to add. You will need a description of who will be working with you, especially your technical advisor. After that, you are going to create a budget, and the spreadsheet we provide you with will guide you, as well as an example in the application instructions. This totals up all the dollars you are requesting from SARE to fund the project, and it's much like a list of items you need and how you estimated their cost. It's a pretty straightforward process after this. You will take your text and budget and then use it to fill out the online submission template, and that is the only way we will receive proposals. After that, all the proposals are reviewed, and by the end of February is when we will let you know if you've won the award, and at that point you can begin your project. Since this is a common question, here is a little more explanation about what you can use grant funds for. SARE expects to pay you for any extra time and expenses beyond your normal farming operation that it takes you to run the study. For example, the time you spend on the project and that of hired staff. If your advisor or a consultant wants to be paid, then that's totally acceptable. And often in research, you need to purchase supplies and pay for services. That could be like soil testing or maybe paying someone to do custom work that you normally don't have on your farm. And then when the study is over, SARE will pay you or your technical advisor to do outreach, say like a field day or write an article for a newsletter or perhaps give a workshop at a farm conference, which can include the cost of travel. Sometimes you might like to share with other people what you're doing during the study, and that would be included in your outreach request. And you might print out a fact sheet or pay for postage to send out invitations for your event, and that's covered too. And if you want, you can ask for general overhead, which is called indirect costs. However, you must understand that this is a reimbursement system, and you must have the capacity to operate during the study by invoicing our SARE office. If you have any other questions after listening to this, please contact me by phone or email. Thank you for your interest in Northeast SARE.